We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP. We're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire really is that amazing designers would find great players who love their games, and great players would find amazing designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but one of the main ways is that we actually sit down with those designers and play their games. This is a very special game. It's the first one that we're actually helping develop. We usually just release our own games, or we might support some other people's games in different financial ways or through creating content for them. But we've been working with Marcus to actually develop downwego into a print project that we're going to have upcoming to release. You can check out the link for that by going to the link right below Marcus's face. Marcus, point down below you so everybody can see that link.
Below me? Where?
that was it. That was perfect. You did a great job. You can check it out, the Ashcan version of it out right now on itch. We're doing a little bit of light itch funding, and we are like about $70 away from finishing our itch funding goal. And so we've had some other cool possibilities that have come up through that process. So we might do another small one, but we will be taking it to Kickstarter later on this summer to print out physical copies of the game also, and developing a finalized digital version. This is just a series of public playtests. So if you're here to join us, we're excited to have you. If you watch this later, we're excited to have you. Drop questions if you have them down below. We have one major change happening this week, and that's that I'm stepping into the GM seat and Marcus is taking over Thrag. But Marcus, tell people before we meet everybody else a little bit about downwego and what you were trying to accomplish when you set out to design the game.
Downwego is my take on the OSR scene, like the way I perceive it, the way I want to play it, what I like about the OSR. I tried to take all of that and distill it into one game and really make it very minimalistic, simple, easy. The goal is to, you should be able to just pick up the character sheet and be ready to play in 5 minutes. So that was like the whole basic idea with the game. And I'm super happy with it. And super happy to be working with Tony to get a print release. That it is just insane. I still haven't completely wrapped my head around this whole Kickstarter Ashcan thing, but it's just insane. It's awesome.
Like every week I'm like, okay, Marcus, here's the next thing we're doing. He's like, wait, we're doing that also too? And I'm like, yeah, we're doing it all. It's going to be great. We're itch funding, we're kickstarting. We'll be fulfilling and other things later on. But that's enough about the game. I want everybody to get a chance to play it, but let's meet our other actual players. Let's start off with our player who joined us last week. That's Liam. Liam, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online.
Yeah, for sure. G'day, guys. My name's Liam from Sydney, Australia. I run the Hobgoblin podcast, which is available on all good podcast platforms. We are running a version of Savage Tide, which I rewrote meticulously from 3.5 to Pathfinder 1E because I'm insane, and to make it harder for myself from Greyhawk to the world of Galarian. With all of the changing gods and everything that entailed. So we release a podcast episode every Monday morning American time, which is Tuesday night our time. Tuesday morning at midnight, but yeah. So yeah, that's us. We also stream, and you can find us on pretty much every social network, except for the one that the young kids are using, because even I don't know how to use Snapchat, though my sisters keep telling me I need to.
Awesome. Let's hop over to the person who's been kind of propping up this adventure, the stalwart presence, and that's Richard Ruane. Richard, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online.
Hey, I'm Richard Ruane, and I am a game designer. My brother, he, him, and I've designed Barrow Keep, and working currently on Enoch's Week, and Darkness Science and Weaponry are the games that I guess I'm most associated with. So
awesome.
I'm at ARR_RO on Twitter. So.
Awesome. It's been great to have you with us each week, and fun to get to play a little bit of campaign mode with you. I'm looking forward to trying to kill you this session. It's going to be great.
Thanks, sir.
And so then last but not least, joining us this time, we have Sarah. Sarah, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online.
I'm Sarah Brunt. I am one half of Planar Compass. We write old school essentials and other tabletop role-playing game content. You can find me at SARAH. That's why am I spelling it? At Sarah Eliza Brunt on Twitter. You can find Planar Compass at Planar Compass on Twitter. Currently, we just pushed out a coloring book, something to keep players who might occasionally scroll their phone, it's me that I'm talking about, from losing and disconnecting with the game, because it's a great way to like enjoy the conversation without losing place of where you might be. It's a silly venture, but I think a fun one. I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to play with everybody. Like I said, I'm going to switch over to GMing this time. So Marcus is going to take over Thrag. And we are in level 2 of a dungeon. Each week we've had different people join us. So let's kind of catch up on what's been happening so far. Richard and Marcus, why don't you start us out? When we'll have Liam jump in with some of what happened last session.
All right. You want to start, Richard?
Sure. So Bragg and I and some other people who made it back and then didn't want to keep working with Thrag and I for whatever reason. I'm completely lost on that. Ventured in. There was a long licensing process which took place off screen. There was a very long adventure licensing process, which may have involved Borba, my character, fraudulently claiming that he was excavating a dungeon on behalf of Thrag's religion, only to discover that was an actual real religion, and thus I had to have a priest come along with me.
Yes. And yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's where Thrag comes into play. He's an acolyte of the Reclaimer. Was that it, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, and my understanding is that this whole religion is about going down dungeons and catacombs, crypts, and just looting, reclaiming old stuff. You can find old artifacts and stuff like that. But we're like during the last 2 sessions, we pretty much cleared out level 1, almost. There's a barricaded room, but we found a lot of shedded skin. Thrag took some with him. We found a workshop of some kind where a metallic humanoid person is trying to build more of its kind, it seems. We found a huge hole leading down to a disgusting lake of some kind. And we saw a huge bug crawling around down there. What else did we... Oh, yeah, we encountered some goblins as well. Having a good time. And we tried talking to them, as I remember it, very politely.
There was some violence that may have been mostly our fault.
It may have, yeah.
And it largely resulted in a complete lack of trust between us and the goblins.
Yeah. And, I guess that's why they barricaded themselves.
It's really going to be a lot of long, involved work to rebuild that trust. But
and that's what we're switching the campaign over to. Like, it's just goblin human relations from this point on.
Thank God.
Joke's on you. I'm down for goblin therapy.
Yeah, goblin human relations is my real, actual level 4 power.
You also have a permit for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I just forged it.
And y'all have made your way down now to a 2nd level after encountering some zombies, an old body, and then figuring out a way to leverage yourself down. Liam, why don't you pick up a little bit there? Tell us about some of the hijinks y'all got up to after they went back to the city and came back into the dungeon.
Once we came back in, we went through and cleared out the rest of the level that hadn't been cleared out last time, including a room full of undead that Borba excellently kited near a hole before we literally clotheslined them into it, Esterax and Thrag. We had a companion trip and fall, we'll say, / someone drop the rope down a long, dark shaft, and we never heard them actually hit before finally figuring out we could use rope and some manipulation of magic to get down to the level below. Down something called an elevator shaft or something, the robot said.
Nice.
Some mystical box.
Yeah, there also might be a giant alligator god somewhere down here, I think.
Yeah, somewhere down there.
And so now that said, y'all have arrived, but let's switch over real quick. I know you each talked a little bit. We had each of you kind of catch us up. Actually, first, let's hear from each of you, just so we know who you're each playing, and then we're going to introduce Sarah's character. So, Richard, who are you playing?
I am playing a sneaky thief named Borba, who is accompanied by a badger named Finlow.
Awesome. Liam, how about you?
I am playing Estrax the Dark, the cultist of the fallen god. And he is all about that deep magical power.
Awesome. You're looking for those candles down in this dungeon. So far, only lamps.
Too many lanterns, not enough candles.
We'll see what we can find this time around. Marcus, tell us about Thrag.
Thrag is, like I said before, an acolyte of the Reclaimer. He started out a holy character, but it seems like the longer he's spent, the more time he spent in this dungeon, the more bloodthirsty he gets. You leveled him up in bloodthirsty, and I actually did the same today. So he is getting more and more bloodthirsty. Yeah.
There we go.
That's Thrag.
And y'all each just took a new ability, or should have been able to take a new ability. What did you take as your new bloodthirsty ability, Marcus?
Alertness. Which lets me twice a day, just win initiative.
Awesome. Perfect. How about you, Liam? What new ability did you take?
Esterax actually harnessed more of the darkness. Now he can throw missiles around and inflict damage on multiple enemies on the same round.
Awesome. And then Richard, what did we do for Borba?
Borba took acrobatics because there were several really useful practical abilities on the sneaky list, and I don't believe in anything practical.
Awesome.
So I will do lots of things while hanging upside down, solely to like burn those slots.
Awesome.
There's a Batman joke in there right now.
Oh, the world is full of Batman.
Try to stay
jokes
away
right
from Batman discourse. So.
That's right. Let's hear from Sarah. Sarah, tell us a little bit about the character you're going to be playing.
I'm going to be playing Smudge. Smudge is predominantly bloodthirsty, but also sneaky and obsessed with cartography. Smudge, he uses spent torches as charcoal to kind of map as he goes, and he keeps that map on his head as a hat.
Do you have any examples of what that might look like?
I whipped this up at home, and it totally fits over my headset. And this is just how the internet's gonna know me.
Very nice.
Awesome. So tell me, Smudge has been down in this dungeon for a bit now. Tell me about Smudge's journey down here. Now that you've heard a little bit about some of the other stuff.
I kind of feel like Smudge might have found his way in through the rubble that is already on the second level, but I just don't see him in the shiny metal area in the first level. But he's got rope, so it's possible that he might have made his way down through the shaft as well.
Okay.
Using some kind of, let's see, maybe he used up a bunch of his spikes to kind of belay himself.
Okay. So you kind of did you sneak through the first level? Did you have a lot of conflict? How did you get through the first level? Just give me a little bit of a taste.
Oh, I think that it's definitely a sneak kind of a thing. Smudge would have snuck his way down at bypassing the robot. Possibly, I think if anyone, the metal automaton might have been the only person that Smudge might have had discourse with, because knowing that he was alone and seeking to find where he could add to his map, where the elevator shaft might go. Would have been once he had kind of like looked around corners. Oh, he has a mirror. So it's entirely like, I think Smudge definitely looked around mirrors and got the lay of the land and then like moved on to other areas of the map that he wanted to color in.
Awesome. I love the idea that Smudge came into the dungeon between the first adventure drop and the second one. So after y'all had already opened the door, cleared out a lot of this, only really a metal automaton, goblins have sealed themselves off. Smudge kind of snuck around, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't have a permit for sure, I don't think.
Well, I mean, you don't know that.
I don't know.
Well,
that.
Maybe you do.
Did you write permit down on your
on the hat?
On your
I mean,
inventory?
we can check the hat.
we can check the hat if you want to. You want to roll a d20?
Yes.
Roll a d20 plus sneaky for me.
9.
Yeah, so I feel like you have the word permit written down on there somewhere, but that is it. Like, you know, you are going for like the same kind of forgery. It's just not good.
It's just not insurance forgery, which I think is the more serious crime, Borba.
So we but you've been down here in the second level. You got here and all of a sudden you have heard these people coming in behind you down the same elevator shaft that you came in. I'm gonna pop up where y'all are at in the dungeon, very close for our viewers. But I mean, y'all don't have to know because you didn't before. But everybody can see now generally where y'all are at. You heard them coming down into the dungeon. What did you do?
I don't want to waste a hide. And so with the way that the abilities work, I get to use them once.
You get to use them level in that roll times a day. So yes, since you have 1 point in each, you would get once. You could use hide once. You can also just try to hide and make a roll for it plus sneaky.
I think Smudge wants friends. I'm gonna stay in the open.
Okay. So you're sitting there. So as y'all have landed down, you're looking around. You have noticed, as we mentioned last week, that this is again the metallic level, same kind of very fine scroll work that is at a kind of at a few different levels on some of the different parts of metal. And as you kind of pan across the room and you see the lights kind of as they flicker on and off, all of a sudden you notice as you pan back across that there's an individual in the middle of the room standing there with a paper hat on, looking however Sarah tells us Smudge looks.
So Smudge is just kind of a wiry dude, and he's got charcoal smudges all over himself, hence Smudge.
Now I get it.
I mean, at least it's not Bakwano, so we're good, right?
That is a huge advancement. Hey guys, I know that we've not really had this conversation yet, but just because we see a new person does not mean we should attack right away.
And you see like these dark shadows that were enveloping Estrax's hands kind of go down, and he kind of puts his head down a little bit and just hear, oh.
Hi, I'm Borba. This is the Badger Finlow. This is Estrax, an amazing wizard. And this is my supervising priest, Thrag.
Do you have a permit? Because I don't.
Okay, I was about to ask that question.
Can I get on yours? Is there room? I could just write my name in.
Do you have a pen? Yeah.
Yeah, I got charcoal. If you allow him to,
so yeah, I hold out the permit and just
great.
Like
Smudge
yeah.
just like runs a dusty hand across it and just like, the lighting is really good for this actually.
Yeah, I just gonna offer my hand and just like it is so good to be working with you.
Oh, you're gonna shake hands with me? Great. So you shake my
Great.
charcoal hands and I clap you on the shoulder. So you got a handprint on your shoulder too.
Yeah. When you go for the shoulder, there's a badger there, and the badger sort of offers you a high five.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Tiny high fives.
Tiny. tiny sharp high fives, but
So y'all are able to y'all meet the newest member of your party, Smudge. As you look around, there's rubble stacked off to one side, blocking off what seems like it looks like a door just the same as above that led into that small room with the 3 buttons. Other than that, there is space to the east, which is basically directly in front of you off the elevator, as well as to the south. So if you would be right out of the elevator, what do you want to do?
What exits do we see? Doors, corridors?
It is roughly hewn as you go forward, and it is totally open pathway off to your right. It's not very high light here, so you can see the immediate area around you. Like you can see well enough from this flickering light, but it is not very bright. Like so, you get a general shape of the room around you, but it's certainly not easy to make everything out. But you get a sense that right in front of you, away from the elevator, there's this kind of rough-hewn, broken out place. To your right, if you're facing away from the elevator, to the south, it's much cleaner, much better laid out, and it looks like it's that same kind of metallic construction you've seen up above.
I'm okay with going either way, but it's important to me that we go both ways eventually so that I can add it to my important business here.
Smudge, have you been on exploring this level at all? Or did you just get here?
I just got here. So I didn't expect to meet friends.
Have you heard about the big bug?
I didn't see much up there. Was there a bug up there? What room was the bug in?
Right beneath a big hole. We saw some big bug, mean-looking thing, which is why I would suggest that we move pretty quietly before we know like where it is.
I can be quiet.
Good.
That's
Awesome.
All right. Well, I mean, also, it seems like the bug might be a little bit lower down, correct? Than we are right now.
Y'all went a good way down. Like it was about a 30-foot drop, so it was further down, but it's hard to know exactly how much further down.
Right. Okay. It might be easy bug climbing distance. I am so glad we have this collection of lanterns that we acquired.
Y'all have a lot of
lanterns. I don't have to use any more torches. Oh wait,
yeah.
Do you have any extra? Or is there one that I can share?
Oh yeah, we've got I have an extra that we acquired, I think, a couple of times ago. Yeah.
So I did forget to ask one important question. And that is, Sarah, there is a legendary adventuring party that you have heard of in this area that you suspect might even be connected to this very space that you are in. And they are known as, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Gnork's Goons. Is that correct, Marcus?
Aced it.
Excellent. You have heard rumors about all of them, but you've always been especially fascinated by a particular rumor about the leader of this group, Gnork himself. Now, they knew a lot about all the other members of the party. Like some of them were thieves and some of them were wizards. Some of them were clerics, right? Some of them were fighters. But nothing particular is known about Gnork other than that he was the leader. And there are a number of rumors that surround him. You know one of them. What is the rumor about Gnork that you have always been fascinated with?
I heard that he pickles his trophies.
Did he have was there anything specific about these pickles that you were aware of?
He has the heart of his first love pickled in a jar.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's full of liquid, so probably a heavy jar.
Excellent. So yeah, you heard about that, and you know, maybe you were interested in this pickling process. Maybe you were once in love yourself. Who knows? But you know, you've heard. You've heard this rumor about Gnorc and the pickled trophies that he has, including the heart of his first love. Did he kill his first love? Was, like you said, trophies? Is there any more to the rumor that you're aware of?
I heard that he killed his first love, but I heard that it was an accident.
Okay.
It was not something he did on purpose. I think that might have been why he tried to save and preserve it. Preserve, not ferment. Preserve.
Excellent. Awesome. So you have heard that rumor. That's part of what brought you down in here was this tale of Gnorc. So tell us a little bit. Y'all are, like I said, have this rough-hewn passage straight ahead of you. You have this this metallic straight passage off to your right. What did y'all want to do?
I would actually suggest following down the metal corridor. Stick to the more civilized areas, if you will. Hopefully.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So as you make your way down about 15 feet, it then hooks again over to the west. And then eventually you come to a door.
Is it the same kind we've encountered before?
It's the same kind. Well, you've encountered a couple different types, but yes, it is of a very similar style. So it opens inward into the room is a couple questions that we've, I think, had repeatedly. So yes, inward into the room, and just a simple handle that you see in front of you.
All right. Hey, Borba, why don't you sneak up and listen if you can hear anything?
All right. Do standard door safety precaution procedures by listening, checking for like any sort of thing that could be tied to a trap around the handle that could be disarmed, and then just checking to see if signs of passage around the door.
You don't see any particular signs of passage here, but you do notice that this door is bulging a little bit out towards you. Not if you hadn't been paying attention to it, it would have been hard to notice. But you can definitely tell there's been a little bit of give to this door.
Gotcha.
What is the temperature of the environment?
It's cool and fairly humid. So it's not cold in any way, shape, or form, but it's a very clammy, somewhat humid space.
And the door is metal. Is that what you told
the door is is metallic, yeah.
Yeah. Is the door warm, hot?
The door is
Cool.
is as slightly cooler than the air around you, so it seems to be normal temperature.
Okay.
And you said it opened inwards.
It does open inwards, but it is bulged outwards.
All right. Okay, maybe should we just try and open it, see what happens? You didn't see any traps, right? Or a sign of traps?
Nope, no sign of traps.
There aren't any gaps, are there?
There are no gaps in the door either. No traps, no gaps, no cap. No cap. That's what the kids say. It means I'm not lying.
Yeah. No traps, no caps.
Real quick on this.
But there is maps.
There are maps.
Bulge. Is it a fermentation? There's something wrong with the contents of this can bulge, or is this someone was thrown against this door and sort of bulged it outwards? Bulge.
Yeah, this is less of an overall bulge, and there's definitely a couple of indented spots, and there's a few of them, but it definitely looks like something was thrown up against, hit, or in some other way, shape, or form impacted this door.
Well.
All right. Well, I'll just try to open it very slowly and as quietly as I can.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d20 for me. The door resists a little bit. B3 L7 wants us to know that they love gherkins. Everybody, by the way.
Just a straight up d20.
Yeah, go and roll a d20. And you can either put bloodthirsty or sneaky into this. Bloodthirsty to power through, or sneaky to open it quietly. Whichever one is more important to you.
It's very much more important to open it bloodthirsty style, but I got a 7, so I guess it's a fail.
You kind of like you open the door a little bit. You're able to get it open, but it's like you open it and you put like it requires multiple like pushes and like slamming your body into it before it opens up into a room. And all of a sudden, like the lamplight you have becomes almost blinding as it starts to refract off all these pieces of skin and carapace that are like scattered around the room.
And this is all sort of insectile, correct?
It is insectile. It's very much like the one that Thrag has in their pack, but it is these seem much more rigid.
And none of them are moving towards us right now, right?
It's very hard to tell. When I say it's filled, I mean like it is feet deep in this room. And so there could be something in here, but none of this stuff is moving towards you. It is thick with these kind of pieces of skin.
Well, Thrag immediately pulls his mace out and just takes a step back, I think. Yeah.
As you step back, some of those pieces of skin like kind of like skitter into the hallway. They're not moving, but they just kind of slide off that pile.
All right. Do they all look like they were from the same creature?
I mean, the same type of creature or the same individual creature?
No, the same type of creature.
The same type of creature? Overwhelmingly, yeah. You do see some of those same smaller insects from up above, little pieces of that. And then, but that's like what you see is it looks like it's all the same type of creature. Whatever this giant silverfish type creature is.
So it's a big yucky creature?
It's a big yucky creature, yeah.
Well,
is it the same kind of skin that Thrag already has?
The one Thrag has is flexible, and these are more rigid and hard. But it is, other than that, very similar.
Was the one that Thrag had valuable when you brought it back to town?
I don't think I ever got an estimate on the price.
Yeah, Thrag was like, this will make cool armor. I'm pretty sure Thrag was thinking, this will make cool armor later. I'm going to hold on to this. If I was in the head of Thrag at that moment, that's what I think he would have been thinking. Who knows what actually happened? But yeah, I think Thrag was thinking this will be valuable later on, or I can get something made out of it. But yeah, this almost has more of a rigid metal quality to it. That was very thicker than like leather, but was very malleable and workable.
So there's no clear passage through this room.
There's no clear passage through. You can try to climb over this stuff. You could try to clear this stuff out. All of a sudden, though, you do see Thragir in the front.
Yeah.
You do see one of the piles in the corner start to move.
Well, that was.
Go ahead.
Towards you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have movement. I just back up. I back down the corridor, I think. And maybe even close the door.
Give me another strength roll now that some of this stuff has spilled out into the hallway.
Oh my god. This is even worse. Yeah, a 5 in total. 3 + 2.
And you're rolling d20s, right?
You're rolling a d20, right?
I am. I'll switch it out right away. You had your chance, buddy. Switching to a pink one.
So so you try to close the door. It's caught. There's too much stuff in between it. You get it about within about 6 inches of being closed. And do you want to back down the hallway, or what's your plan?
Yeah, while looking at the door, like slowly with mace in hand.
Sure, y'all move a few feet back down the hallway, or at least you do. All of a sudden, you hear a chittering, and you see like antennae and what looks like maybe a few like legs of an insect, like starting to scrape at the door.
How much light is in the hallway?
There's a little bit flickering, but y'all have those lanterns out, so there's plenty of light to be able to see out here. It is nowhere near as bright now that the door is closed and there's not all the reflections happening off of all of the skin, but it's still very well lit.
Smudge is gonna yell, "Douse the lights!"
I don't think I'm carrying a light of some kind, but yeah, douse them.
I think I'm borrowing one, so I doused
Shots
the
of the
light.
lanterns.
Yeah, I've doused the light. I'm dousing the lantern.
Okay. You hear if you're just waiting, you hear chittering for a little while. Right? Pretty intense. Like it's scraping at that door, but it doesn't seem to be able to gain purchase. And then it starts to slow down. And then you hear shuffling around inside and it stops.
Interesting.
So Smudge takes off his hat and just like starts like drawing, big bug room. Okay, so what about the other way? Maybe we want to go the other way.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Were there lights, the flickering lights from the symbols on the wall? Were those present in the bug room as well?
It was hard to tell because everything went up so high. It was very bright in there, but mostly because of the lamplight that was scattering in, not.
All right.
So you couldn't necessarily tell.
Gotcha.
The construction that you saw in that room would make you think probably underneath all this skin.
Yes, I vote for backtracking and trying the other way. If you all are down for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably our wisest choice.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all are headed back up down the rough hewn path. So y'all walk back through. Nothing has changed in that room, and you're headed down kind of this rougher hewn place. As you kind of move ahead, you notice there are no lights in this section in the same way that there are on the other ones. So lanterns or some way of seeing are needed here, but there are every so often, about every 40 or 50 feet. It's not super regular. As you look down a couple different pathways, you can tell that there are some lights, but you quickly reach an intersection. There is the pathway that you came behind you as you went to the east. You can go kind of straight ahead to the east. You can go up north, or you can go down south. This is a 4-way intersection.
All right. Do they just continue? Do we see what's at the end of the corridor?
You cannot see what is at the end of the corridor. I mean, like if you make your way around and look down, you can see that there is some more flickering lights like up ahead in what would be straight if it didn't kind of wind around, but it's straight enough that you can tell there are some more of those flickering lights up ahead.
Well, I always vote for clearing things out clockwise. So start on the left and.
So do you want to go?
Agreed.
Just to clarify, do you want to go north or up, or do you want to go? Is what you want to do correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which would be left if you were go like from the way you were walking. Okay. Is that the plan then?
Yep.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So you head down this rough hallway and you find your way to what looks like another door. Same type of door you've encountered so far. This one does have what looks like a rune or symbol right in the middle of the door, though.
Okay.
Does it look like welcome to our humble abode, or
Is the symbol engraved, or is it?
It looks like it's painted on. It almost looks like it's kind of like a poster that you might see on a wanted board in town, like it's been kind of just slapped on there and sealed down. It's in the same flowing script that you don't recognize from all around you.
Okay, so it's the huh.
All right. Well, I guess we do the regular door checking thing. Listen.
You do hear. Actually, who's listening?
I'll listen.
Go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
That's a 6.
My
4 levels.
You hear like what sounds like a snapping noise, but you really can't make out what it is.
It sounds like everyone inside is a jet all the way.
All right. Should we open the door?
Are there hinges on this door, or is it like a slide door?
It opens inward, so there's the hinges are on the. It is hinged, and it looks like they're on the inside.
Okay.
We could just knock and see if somebody comes to the door.
Good idea.
I mean, I feel like that expresses a slightly less aggressive intention.
Sure.
Well, okay.
So,
yeah.
Open someone's door.
So you knock.
All right. With my crook.
Knock, knock, knock. How long are you waiting?
Let's give it 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
After 10, 15 seconds pass, you get no response.
Do I still hear the same snapping inside?
You know, it's not a constant noise. Like it's not rhythmic. It's every so often. But yeah, if you hear it happen twice during that time period.
Maybe I just need to knock harder. I knock harder.
How long do you want to wait?
Same amount of time.
You hear it snap once during that time, no, but nothing else happens.
Perhaps if you just open it, they don't seem to be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, probably one of those robots. I'll just open it and sort of stick my nose around the corner.
So
and say, "Is anyone home?"
As you say that, you open it up, and as you literally stick your nose in, you can smell the kind of sharp tang of ozone in this room, and you look around, and there are sparks shuddering all throughout this room, and you can notice that is what is making the snapping noise. And now that you have this open, it is far more constant at a very quiet level, with larger snaps punctuating that. It looks like there are thick ropes laying all over the ground where a lot of these sparks are coming out of. And you look at the kind of the deepest tangle near what looks like some sort of series of like buttons and knobs on the wall. There's a thick tangle of these ropes, and there is a body that is laying near them.
Humanish body, goblinish body.
Human from a height perspective. You have your lamp back on at this point in time.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks humanish in size, but old, very desiccated, and looks like it's probably a mix of both time and whatever these lights are doing to the body is causing it to be in just really bad shape. It's burnt and old also.
Those are not two things that go well together.
How many of these thick ropes are snapping, moving? Is it just one, or all of them, or?
So they are not all moving, but you can see that there are 5 major kind of groupings of cables that are spread out around the room. And most of them are like you can make your way into the room by and large, but as you get closer to that far side to that panel and to that individual who's on the ground, that is where they are at their thickest.
Probably wouldn't want to like touch those lightning generating ropes because we might get attacked by lightning elementals or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably don't want to touch the guy either, but I do want to know what he's got on him.
He definitely. I mean, you can see well enough. Like he is wearing darker robes with kind of this blue inlay. The clothes look old. And there are a few different pieces of jewelry, but the one that definitely catches your eye the most is there's a large ornate ring on the right hand.
Now, was there something about any when we were looking for that might have been like signified by the ring, or is there anything that sounds familiar about the ring?
Anyone who wants to make a mystical roll can make a mystical roll.
I will be doing that. 15.
15. So you remember that you're not 100% sure, but you do know that one of the rumors around this was about one of the people from Gnork's goons was Similin. And you remember Similin was a magic user that used to was legend to have cast a rift in reality that was a portal that went no one knows exactly where, but a lot of the ornamental realities of what this person has on them suggests somebody who specializes in interplanar magic.
Is it possible to get close enough to slip that ring off?
I mean, it's absolutely possible to get close enough to try to slip that ring off.
Would it be better to have someone with a crook snag like the person's boot and like pull them away from the ropes?
Yeah, what is your crook made out of?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. When is it metal, wood? I guess I can just decide that myself.
Yeah, if I had been in Thrag's head when I was creating it, it would have been absolutely wood. But yeah, it's up to, if you have a different way you want to go. If you want it to be metallic, that's fine. And
I'm thinking like the handle is made of wood, but there's some kind of metal up top,
Sure.
like an ornament of some kind. Yeah.
I mean, there is a metal skull on the end of it at this point in time.
Oh
but
yeah,
yes,
that's right.
the handle is wood, absolutely.
Yes, I will give it a try. My crook, yeah. I'll try to move a bit closer and hook this body's leg and try to pull it closer to us.
Go ahead and make a D20 roll for me. I'll give you bonuses for the crook. I don't think you have any points in sneaky, so
no. 5. And I switched to another D20.
The electricity kind of arcs across the room. You have been near like lightning and powerful like electric magic before, and you know that it'll sometimes arc, and you get a little bit of a zap. It's not enough to do damage per se, but it does cause immense pain. So you can either choose to drop the crook or take a damage.
Of course, I'll take the damage.
So you take the damage, and you are able to power through and pull the body back towards you.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
No problem.
Oh.
I pull it all the way close to Esterax where he's standing. Go ahead.
Are you comically all frizzed out too now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, give the body a quick pat down, slip the ring off the finger, and see if it has anything else that's not fried to bacon.
Yeah, almost all the other metallic implements have been basically fused to the skin. Now, that skin is very flaky, so if you want that metal, it's not hard to retrieve it. It's just a personal choice. But the ring itself seems to be completely intact. Also, the robes seem to be in very good repair considering everything.
I mean, Mr. X isn't necessarily a grave robber, except the ring.
Did you find any permit on him?
If he had a permit, it was probably fried, I imagine.
Oh.
Well, then we should check, because, man, I'm gonna sort of take the robe off just to like sort of get a sense of like, is it like real silk?
Does it have pockets? Pockets are important.
There are a number of pockets. Is it real silk? It is a very high quality robe. Sure, there are silk parts. The blue parts that I mentioned earlier, those are all silk inlays. The rest of it just seems to be a very high quality linen. It's relatively thick, so it's probably cool in the summer, warm in the winter. It's an enjoyable, fashionable robe.
That's good for a humid room.
I'm gonna tag check it real quick.
Yeah. It comes from Randall's Robes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Randall's is a sign of quality, but not necessarily.
Not.
But did you get in those pockets though?
Yeah. How are the pockets? Is there anything interesting in the pockets?
Is there a pocket big enough for a badger?
any pocket is big enough for a badger if that pocket tries hard enough.
Right. Or the badger tries hard enough.
That's true also. Yeah, so there is you find some more of this kind of like slagged metal in the pocket. Borba, you know enough about like these things to know like if this metal is slagged, it's weird that it didn't burn through the pocket.
Right. Like, yeah. Well, I try on the robe just to see how it fits.
Yeah, it's people wear what they wear in Infinitopolis. It's a cut that historically might have been associated with a more feminine form, but I mean it looks very dashing on you.
I mean, I don't know if I can make this work, but it feels very. I like the cut.
But it's got to be you. If I put it on, it'll get all smudgy.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to just.
I mean, it doesn't go with Azarek's dark aesthetic, and Tharg, he's got Reclaimer's ropes. He's got to stick with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to wear the
Does the permit become invalid if he doesn't wear that?
No.
Okay.
No. There's the really, as long as Thrag is here, the permit's valid, I think. Or at least that's what I wrote onto it.
How long are y'all gonna hang out in the room for?
There are no exits out of this room, right?
No, it is the way you came in. This panel in front of you, the body you've pulled back from it, and then these snaking cables, mostly on the far side of the room.
Wait a minute. Wait. We were told to find the power, right?
That's right. Yeah. Do you think this could be it?
It looks very powerful.
It does, yeah. Well, is it safe to walk over to that panel and check that out?
Judging by the burnt corpse in front of it, no.
The cords, the thick ropes, do they have coating on them of any kind?
You said coating?
Coating.
They, yeah. So if you look at them, you do notice that there is a On the parts that aren't making the sparky sparks in the light, but there is some sort of like thick coating on it. You can't. It looks maybe like tar, but not sticky.
Smudge is gonna pick it up where the coated area is, but not the sparky spark end, and just hold it out.
Okay. Everybody, tell me what your positioning in the room is right now. Where are you looking? What are you doing?
I'm looking at the panel, and then I'm looking at Shock at Smudge.
Okay. What is Thrag doing?
Thrag is, I guess, pretty close to the door.
Okay.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Esterax, where are you at?
Probably not that far from where they pulled the body over, still like going over the ring and kind of like
Cool.
meticulously kind of picking it out.
All right, Smudge, tell me again what you were doing.
I want to very delicately pick it up like you would maybe a snake. But only from the parts that have like the tar coating.
Chat says rip Smudge. Yeah, no, so you pick it up. You're able to kind of find a spot a little bit further back. You wait till it like snaps, and then grab it real quickly afterwards. And you're able to grab it real quick.
All right, and I want to toss it like away into a corner of the room that nobody's in.
Sure. Go ahead and make a D20 for me. 11. Yeah, you get it into that corner. Thrag, you all of a sudden hear.
From where?
You're not entirely sure. There was a lot of snapping when that cable got thrown. Made it a little hard to hear.
Well, I look back, see if anything's coming down the corridor towards us.
You said you don't have a lamp earlier, correct?
Yes.
It's pretty shadowy out there in this part. So it's hard to tell if there's anything out there. You're gonna need to make a roll for me if you wanna.
No, I'll just run towards the door and close it, and just yell out, "We may have company."
Okay.
Well, if we have company, I get out the snacks.
You pull out the badger snacks, hand them out. So yeah.
Well, if we have company, we have no way out but that door anyway, so
That does seem to be the only way in and out of this room.
So how thick are the cables at the bottom of that panel?
It varies. Most of the ones that you can see are between an inch, like half an inch to 2 inches thick.
Oh, sorry. Like, sorry, I was asking the wrong thing. Like, how much space is there to sort of like stand or hang or exist between the cables at the bottom of that panel and the panel?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Like, is it like the cables just sort of spilling out of the panel, or are they just sort of pooled on the floor at the bottom of the panel?
They are pulled on the floor at the bottom of there's basically about a 10-foot radius around the panel that's hard to navigate due to these cables.
Gotcha. Okay.
And are all of the cables making snappy?
Not all of them are. There's about 5 cables that look like they are the ones you have to worry about. You have moved one of them off to the side.
I'm sorry. How many cables were
5,
snapping?
one of which has been thrown into a corner.
All right. I'm thinking if I could the floor is metal, right?
The floor is the same metallic structure, like metallic kind of thing. However, it also has not just consequently that has not been an issue so far.
And the panel had buttons?
It has some buttons and some knobs.
Maybe there's a way to turn it off somehow?
There is one of those, like, is in time with the, like, snapping and the flickering of the lights. Like, there's one button on that panel that lights up whenever everything else does. Everything else is dark to it.
Interesting.
This is strange witchcraft.
Weird. Do we hear any more? Do I hear any more of those sounds? Those weird mumbling sounds?
With the door, since you closed the door, you haven't heard anything.
Huh. Well.
All right. Well, maybe we'll come back to this room later.
Wait.
What are you thinking?
Well, possibly what would happen if I took something and threw it to push one of the other buttons, like a rock or a brick or a
Do you have a rock or a brick or a metal slag
or a torch or a lump of metal slag? Yes.
Throw it. What's the worst that could happen? Famous last words. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, make a roll plus any bloodthirsty you have.
That's a 2.
Yeah, you lob it right into the thickest part of these cables.
That wasn't where I wanted it to go.
So why'd you throw it there? I think I'll turn my crook the other way around so the wood is in front of me, and
Sure.
I'll try to push the button with the wood end of it.
Okay. Which button are you pushing?
The same that Borba tried to hit.
So not the one that's lit up. Is that the?
No, one of the others.
Okay. So yeah, there's one above it, one below it, and then there's like a slider knob also too. So you're trying to go for the one on top?
One above it. Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead and make a D20 roll for me.
16.
So yeah, you're able to lean out, kind of, it's at the very edge of the length of this crook and hit that button. And when you do, you notice that, like, one of the cable that was twitching in the corner stops twitching. And another one of these cables right in front of you starts. You're able to kind of pull back in time. And then the middle button and all the lights around you stop flickering also.
Strange indeed.
And if any electricians are watching later on, and this is not how any of this works, don't at me.
It's alien technology.
My first instinct is to keep throwing things at it until something happens. But my first instinct was actually to pick up a cable, and I'm destined to end as a smudge, I'm pretty sure.
But these cables, by the way, do they look like they were torn apart, or is there a clean cut somewhere?
I don't know. The whoever wrote this dungeon didn't give me that information.
I gave you enough.
This looks like something. It looks severed more than it does like pulled or torn apart. It's not entirely, like, one of them has a little bit rougher, significantly rougher of a look to it, but even that looks like it probably was chopped as well.
All right. What do y'all think would happen if we repaired it? If we tried to repair it somehow?
Where are the cables coming from? Are they just sort of like loose on the floor? Or are they like suspended from somewhere?
They are. It looks like these were kind of pulled out. So like some of them go into the ground, and some of them come out from beneath the control panel. And it looks like these were basically pulled out from the control panel or up from the ground, and it is a mix of both, kind of back and forth.
Interesting.
Okay, I use my crook again, and I try to move that slider you described.
Okay. Left or right?
Is it in the middle right now? I can move it both ways.
There's not a clear marking on it necessarily. Like you can move it either way though. Yes.
All right. Well, I'll ever so slightly move it to the right.
So as you move it to the right, the electrical like snapping and the brightness starts to dim.
Whatever that is, keep
Okay.
doing that.
Yeah, I'll slide it all the way.
Okay. It goes out. Like all the snapping stops.
Okay, good.
You're also in pitch black right now.
Uncover my lantern.
Okay.
All right.
Now, when you said repair, do you mean put the rope somewhere?
I'm not sure what I meant. Like try to reconnect the ends or something?
Well, now it's
That
not
just-
making that popping. We could probably do that.
Yeah.
How would we do that though?
I have no idea. I have spikes.
Thrag, I also don't know that we mentioned this earlier. You did loot a bunch of twisted pieces of metal from upstairs, in the robot room.
Oh yeah, I have that written down. Like, could you bend those pieces of metal with your hands? Are they thin?
It's a mix. I believe Thrag picked up some of the pieces that were more workable and shinier. So let's say, sure, with enough effort, you could probably bend one of these.
All right. Well, I'll try to, unless someone objects strongly, I'll try to like put two pieces of the big sparkling ropes, not sparkling anymore, and put them together and wrap metal around it as tight as I can.
That sounds good to me, especially if you're doing it.
And anyone else is doing it.
Sure. I mean, you're able. I mean, given the time, you're able to make that happen for sure. How long are you going to spend doing it? Like, is this quick? Like, or like, because normally I would say 5 of them getting it done properly would probably take about 30 minutes. But you could always try to move faster.
No, I think I'll take my time.
Okay.
Yeah, the
door's
robot told
closed.
us we need to get the power back, so
Right.
Yeah. Right, I'll keep working. And once I get 1 or 2 down, I'll instruct someone else on how to do it and hand over a piece of metal.
Oh wow, that's smart.
Okay. Who else is going to help with this process?
Esterax is not known for his strength.
Smudge will do it.
Awesome.
So y'all are able to get it done in about 22 minutes, let's say, given the help. I mean, if you do it twice, then have somebody help you with the last ones, it'll go a little bit quicker. And so you're able to get it done. And you've got these kind of reattached metal wrapped around cables now that are all in front of you.
Gotcha.
All right. Drum roll, please.
I'm gonna back away from the bound cables before he slides the slidey thingy.
Yeah. So
as
tell
far as
me
possible.
how you rearrange. Like, I understand the method of using the metal to do it. That's totally great. What is their arrangement now? Are they just on the ground? Where are they at? How much cable management did Thrag do?
I don't think I gave this as much thought as I right now wish I had.
Sure.
Mhm.
I love that. Go ahead and
Yeah, I'll slide the slider thingamajig again.
sure. Go ahead and make a is luck D6?
Yeah,
Make a D6.
that's what I
roll for me.
usually do. Yeah,
make a D6.
higher
roll
is
for me.
higher is better. 3.
The good news is you don't electrocute yourself or anyone else.
Good.
But all of a sudden you get you see this button light up, and I'll let you and it looks like you could probably direct, like all of a sudden the floor you're on, that button lights up strong. This lights up strongly, like the room around you, those lights come back on full that you've seen in all the metalwork, and the current seems clear. You can also pick one other floor that will now be flickering. Thrag can kind of tell they can direct the energy. So do you want to direct the energy to level 1, level 2? Sorry, do you want to direct it to the top one, the one you're on, the one below that, or it looks like there is one other spot you can direct power, but it's not one of these buttons. Like if you push the slider all the way to the left, like it's kind of naturally stops, and then if you push it over one more time, it looks like it accesses another thing, but it's not one of the buttons.
Maybe we
that
can
is
help.
the gator god.
Might be. I'm thinking how the goblins that locked themselves in would react if we lit their place up. Would they like it or not? I mean, I'm thinking goblin relations here.
Huh.
I guess we could come back and change it if things don't work out. Yeah, I'll direct it to this level and the floor above us.
Okay. So it's not flickering as much as before, but it is not fully consistent. So it's better than floor 2 was when you started. Not fully repaired though. So you're able to take care of that. What do you do now?
I congratulate Thrag on a brilliant solution to the problem.
Very well thought out.
All in a day's work.
I slap him on the back with, again, my dusty pig pen hands. Good job.
Why, thank you. All right, what should we do now? Borba, any ideas?
Well, we could try that alligator box again.
Yeah.
The one with the buttons inside it. I mean, you did so well with these buttons that I thought maybe you could do something with the other buttons as well.
All right.
I saw a buttony thing upstairs. Is that what you're talking about? With the buttons?
Yeah.
But is there a button thing down here? That equals that button thing?
You do know that where that box was straight down was where the rubble was on this floor when you came down.
Oh. Well, that seems to complicate matters.
At least we could go over and check it out, see if we hear any humming, something that indicates that it's working.
Right.
Sure. So are y'all headed back out into the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to, because of the noise, or did I hear the noise, or was it just Thrag?
I believe it was just Thrag, though he did alert everybody to the fact that there was a noise, and he did out.
Okay. As we open the door, I'd like to kind of check with my mirror.
Sure. So you look out with your mirror. So like you open it and like you're not in the doorway. You're kind of using it to look down the hallway.
Yeah.
There's a lot more light out here than there was before. However, right in the intersection where those four things meet, it is very dark and shadowy right in that kind of where all the different tunnels meet.
Interesting.
I mean, just there's no lights there. Like it's not like supernaturally dark or anything else like that. It's just where the lights from all the different tunnels seem to meet their end point.
And do we hear anything outside the door?
Not immediately, no.
Good enough, I guess. I'll walk down the corridor.
Does anybody have any light with them?
I've got the lantern.
I've got a lantern too.
It is out?
No, I started mine back when we got to the cave.
No, so it is lit. I'm sorry, I should have been clearer.
Yeah.
It is lit and you are holding it.
Yep.
As you cast light onto that kind of central area, bats erupt out towards you. Make a D20 roll plus sneaky for me.
All of us, or just
just anybody who's holding light right now. D20
right.
plus sneaky.
12.
That is an 8.
So you they kind of rush out. They seem aggravated by the light. They all rush at it. You're able to Esterax hold on to your lantern. However, Borba, you drop your lantern. Was this the fancy lantern?
It's the one that's not supposed to just break.
It does not just break.
Yeah.
It drops. You lose a little bit of oil, nothing especially. It doesn't catch on fire or anything else, but it does. You do get a little bit of leakage as it kind of hits zero gravity for a second, then hits the ground. But it wasn't a toss, and so it does not come apart. You're able to pick it back up though.
I am really glad they did not sell me a fake fancy lantern.
Yeah, it's a real fancy lantern. Yeah, so there are some bats that were in that middle area. So do y'all want to head back towards the elevators, which would be towards your right? Do you want to head towards to the left, which would have been straight away from the elevators, or down towards the south, which is straight in front of you?
Huh.
Well, I would say if we know that the rubble was where the elevator was, it's probably not a huge reason to go back there just yet.
Right.
Unless we...
All right.
How about south?
Yeah, sure.
South?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Haven't been south yet. I want to see what south is.
We want to go south. So as you head that way, there was light coming from the other two directions. This area is darker, and you can you get that sense. You have light in front of you as it's going out, but all of a sudden you have that sense of the space opening up. Like it's hard to even necessarily tell how big this space is getting initially, but you can get sense that there's this kind of opening in the cavern, into a cavernous space up ahead. And as you get there, you see kind of a large chamber with a deep, murky pool of water. There are a dozen or so zombie corpses floating down below it. It's about. You're a little bit up above it. It's about 15 feet down still, kind of sliding down around the edge into this area. Are y'all coming right up to the edge of this? Tell me a little bit about how you're navigating the room. While I zoom out on the map.
Right. First, before I move, do we see any movement in this room at all?
So far, nothing.
Well, at least we know what's at the bottom of the hole.
Yeah, I wonder how those zombies got there.
Teleportation of some kind, I'm sure. I'm gonna say like my alertness ability. Maybe I could like activate it now, and if something were to jump us in this room, we win initiative.
I mean, you can do that. However, you also, if nothing jumps you in this room, you'll have wasted it, and you can use it when it happens.
All right.
But we can go ahead and
I'll
note that you are being alert at this moment. Absolutely.
I'm being alert. Yeah.
Yeah. What's everybody else doing?
I'm not gonna fully hide, but I'm gonna like stay closer to the edges of the room and not go too close to the pool.
Okay.
And I don't have a lantern right now.
Sure.
Or mine's not lit, so.
Maybe we could like throw a rock into the room and see if anything reacts to that.
Borba, hit it with the slag.
Yeah, that slag's in a... Yeah, okay, we've reclaimed the slag because we took the electricity out. So throw the slag lump into the room.
Sure. Roll a d6 for me.
Just to make a little noise in a corner.
Yeah, roll a d6 for me.
Let me get a d6. There we go. 2.
It hits the ground, bounces. You hear kind of some rocks sliding because of that, and not a lot else.
So it's safe.
Right.
Kind of. Maybe. I'll slowly start walking towards that murky pool of water.
I want to walk in behind Thrag and sort of check the ceiling. Like to make sure nothing's about to like climb down onto us. Bug, for instance.
Sure, you look up. You do actually see that there's some like kind of those shiny pieces of skin up there on the ceiling. So it's probably a good thing that you did look up. However, you don't see an actual bug up there. And so Thrag, you said you're moving into the room?
Yes, towards this pool of water.
So go ahead and make a d20 plus sneaky roll for me.
Oh my god. That is a 1.
So as you move forward, you get closer and closer to the edge of the water, and then all of a sudden you step down and the gravel shifts a different way, and you hear like the like a quiet whispering noise all of a sudden.
Oh, that's
not terrifying at all.
Almost as if somebody was shushing you, like a shh.
All right. I just freeze where I stand and just look around waiting for something else to happen.
Okay.
Like, is everybody with me right now? Did y'all come in with me?
I'm still on the edge, and actually the only thing Smudge is going to do is I'm going to take my hat off and I'm going to carefully place it next to me where it's dry because it's a paper hat.
All right. Where's everybody else at?
I'm probably not far behind Thrag because I have the lantern.
Sure. And where is Borba again?
I'm standing right behind Thrag.
Right behind Thrag. Excellent. So y'all, you look out. You see the water in front of you. There's kind of those bloated corpse of those zombie goblins, kind of floating there. It looks like a couple of them may have survived. It may not be the term. Not fully deteriorated yet in this space, and there's some movement down there amongst the bodies, but it is slow, and it is the movement of bloated zombie goblin corpses that are now waterlogged. So
I am
not a high
sorry,
risk.
guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just saying to the zombies.
Not the best shows of goblin diplomacy.
I mean, they're zombie goblins.
Anybody who has been in that, the three of you who are near the pool, go ahead and take a hit point of damage for me.
Ew.
Ooh.
You all of a sudden don't feel very well.
I will immediately retreat from that, seeing as that's half my health.
That is so unpleasant.
Like, do we see at all where this damage is coming from?
You don't see anything. However, there is an intense smell around you right now, like a mix of sulfur and petrichor, and it's hard to breathe.
Yeah, I'll just retreat the way I came in, I think, pretty quickly.
Oh, God. Yeah. No. Okay.
So I didn't feel anything, but I'm seeing them go, and I'm just going to, like, kind of whisper, where are we going? I'm going to kind of chase them a little.
Somewhere that doesn't smell like sulfur.
Oh, I put my hat back on before I do that.
So as you get out of the room, you feel better, but like it's not as intense, but you still don't feel well. I'll let y'all know this. If you don't get help for this within the next hour, you'll take another hit point of damage again.
Yeah.
What?
Is that all of us? I wasn't.
No, just the three who were near the poison gas thing when it got stepped on.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh,
God damn it.
All right, I'm not sure. Esterax and Borba, come a bit closer. I'm not sure this is gonna help, but I'll give it a try. And I want to use heal on both of them. Like touch their foreheads with my hands, mumble a prayer to the Reclaimer God, and try to extract whatever foul thing has seeped into them.
Out of reverence, while he's doing that, I take my hat off and hold it over my chest.
You are everybody he prayed for goes back up a hit point.
Okay.
And you but you also don't feel any better.
Your force code does have some power.
False?
Hey. We're all friends here. Friends. I need you
Right.
guys in order to explore.
All right.
I still feel like something's wrong. Like,
Still got the black lung, Pa.
Merman!
Man, father.
metaphorically speaking, yeah.
So y'all have made your way back kind of out of this this cave area, and there's still that. I mean, there's all the ways you've been already, plus the way to the east, which is if you're walking back towards the middle to your right at this point in time, but it's also the only way you haven't gone.
I think we should go the way we haven't gone. Hopefully, maybe we find a supply room, something that might be able to make you guys feel better. I mean, it's
really
entirely
feel like
likely we find something scary.
Really feel like I just use a seltzer right now.
Yeah. Does anybody have any water?
I do have some water, actually.
I've got ink. I don't think that you want to ingest it.
No, I don't. But maybe just try a swig of water, gurgle it around, and I don't know. I'll try anything right now.
I'll do that with my holy water. See what that does to me.
Go ahead and you drink your holy water. Go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
5.
You feel significantly better.
Here, this
Wow,
might help.
you look better.
I don't know how
All
many
right.
uses are in a holy water, but
I'm a big fan of bottles having two. I mean, unless like potion is different, but bottle having at least 2 uses in it, I think makes sense.
because he healed me, I'll hand throughout the other half of the holy water. Swig this.
Thank you, but I'll use the holy water from my false god. And I drink from my own bottle. But thank
You
you.
can go ahead and roll. You can
I
roll.
prefer the Reclaimer's water.
You can roll a d6 plus 1 since you're a holy character.
We're arguing
4.
Dasani and Aquafina right now.
You also feel better. what we'll say is that each of you have at least been able, like, this will be a problem. You're still poisoned, but you, like, we're down to like a day now, right? Like, you've still got to figure this out, but it's not an immediate concern.
I'll give Paul the other half of mine.
I'm really good with any water, and I got a 5.
Awesome. Yeah. So everybody's feeling significantly better and less poisoned than you did before. But you're still not feeling tip top, but just something to pay attention to as you're going through. So are y'all headed towards that? Now that you're at the intersection,
the corridor we haven't been down.
Where you're going where you haven't been. And I am moving the map. As you kind of move out of this rough-hewn hallway, you find yourself again in kind of this more metallic finished space. This area is now perfectly well lit due to these kind of these lines, this whatever script this is, it seems to go along the hallway, is lighting this area very well. It tees out. You can go to your left or your right. There's alcoves kind of spanning the length of this across from you. But it looks like the hallway goes down to your left and then terminates in a door, and there's another door on the left-hand side, or to your right. It goes down, and it looks like it ends in kind of a rough stone wall, and there's another passageway off to the right down there that maybe heads down into a more of a rough-hewn area.
All right. What about left first, trying the doors, seeing what's behind those?
That sounds good.
Always left.
Yeah.
So
Smudge, you okay with that too?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I want to listen the second we get into the hallway if I hear anything.
So you move to the left. As you are listening, you hear. Now I got to remember what dumb noise I made earlier. Are you listening just in the hallway?
Yeah, I'm listening just in the hallway as we're going left.
You hear something coming off from the left up ahead. So as now you're headed north to the west, you hear something off up ahead. And it is on the other side of a door from you, and it is very faint. It sounds like
I can listen at that door if you're looking at with concern, Smudge.
Yeah, I am a little concerned about that door. If you want to go sidle up next to it, Borba, that'd be great.
I sneak over and place my ear gently against the door.
Richard, are you able to turn yourself up just a touch?
I can get close to my microphone.
So you get next to the door, and all of a sudden you hear,
Does it sound goblin-esque?
It sounds like a goblin talking with its mouth full of marbles.
Uh-huh.
I'm not one to judge how anybody speaks, so or what people find relaxing. So, do we want to knock?
We are the politest dungeon explorers I've ever met. Now it's door knocking.
Yeah, let's try knocking. I mean, if there is a big bug running around somewhere, we could use some friends, I guess.
Right.
All right, I'll use my crook to knock. The holiest knock I know.
What does that knock sound like?
Dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun dun.
So you knock, and you hear like a quick, and then there's almost a thrumming noise in the background that starts to pick up, like it's as if the door is starting to vibrate, but it almost feels like it's pulsing, and it feels like it's in tune with your heartbeat almost.
Whoa.
Very interesting.
Whoever wrote this dungeon, that is so cool.
Do we all hear the thrumming as if it was in tune with our heartbeats?
Anybody who is within a few feet of the door is able to detect this thrumming.
Interesting.
I say we beat on the door in time to it.
I mean, like in sync with the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
We could also just open the door, since no one came to the door.
But no, I kind of like Smudge's idea. Maybe this is some weird form of communication. Yeah, I'll try that for a couple of bangs.
How many bangs? 2? 3?
5?
That's a irregular heartbeat. Lub dub, lub dub, lub.
You hear a squishing noise behind the door now. Every time you hear that squishing noise, and it almost seems to happen as you're knocking, you hear what sounds like a soft cry of like, rah, yeah. It's not every time, but 3 of the 5 times you knock, it happens.
Okay.
Weird. Okay.
Does the door open inwards or towards us?
It opens inwards.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, we tried knocking. We tried communicating. Let's go in and ask for a permit.
Perfect.
Okay.
So, who is in the front?
I think Thrag was banging on the door, right?
And how are you opening the door, Thrag?
Slowly and carefully, I think. I'm not totally convinced that this communication was a success.
Sure. As you open it, and you don't have a lantern, correct?
Oh, yes, that is correct.
It's decently well lit. It's a little bit darker in here. It seems like something is obscuring some of the lights in this room. A knife flies out towards you. Now, I'll still give you credit for being alert earlier if you want me to. However, go ahead and make a D20 roll to see if you get out of the way of this. You can add any sneaky that you have.
11.
Yeah, you're able to dodge. It's not a quality. It's a very rough hewn like just napped stone knife. I apparently love the word rough hewn today. And you're able to kind of dodge out of the way of it at the last second. But there's a bunch of people on this other side of this room, and they are not happy with you. It's you can't tell who threw this knife at you unless you open the door the rest of the way.
Sorry, and I'll just gently close the door again, hoping that's enough to not get them to pursue us. Very, very holy. I'm sorry, and I'll close the door. Okay, there are humanoids, people, things in there. They throw knives
At you?
Yeah, at me. I have no idea why.
Check that permit.
I didn't have time.
Y'all hear movement behind the door, and the thrumming is intensifying.
Did I see how? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead and ask that question. Sorry.
Did I see how many potential knife throwers there were?
You could not tell how many there were exactly, only that there were a multitude of them. So you opened the door. You saw at least 4, and you didn't open the door very far.
Dagnap it. I'll suggest that we actually just jam a spike into this door as well. Try to bolt it shut.
Right. Okay.
How do y'all feel about that?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think if people are going to throw knives at us, they shouldn't be allowed to just roam the hallways.
I take a tiny piece, like a corner of my hat, and I rip it off, and I write "sorry," and I stick it under the spike.
Okay, and I'll jam a spike into where it fits, wherever it does the most damage.
Where we spiked it last time. Yeah. So you spike the door. Which I think last time we just let happen. So this time we'll just let happen. You spike it in there, and as soon as you like hit the mallet down on top of the spike, you hear a slam against the other side of the door, and it sounds like them frantically trying to open it from the other side.
Well, maybe you should have been a little more polite.
There is the door up ahead of you, and there is the door back behind you also too. I mean, there's the hallway back behind you.
Mr. X, where do you want to go?
I would say we may as well clear this corridor and check that last door before we go back.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I agree.
Okay. So y'all make your way. It's just another 20 feet down to this last door. These actually open like this. It's that set of double doors, and it reminds you of the box with the buttons in it, or the long drop.
All right.
Well, we used crowbars last time.
We did.
I have one of those.
Awesome.
I hold mine up for a crowbar bump.
Did you get that at Randall's too?
Oh God, no. I always go to Ace.
No, you gotta try it out though. They got cloaks. They got crowbars.
I'm really just a basic steel crowbar person.
Mine has my initials on it, and he holds it up, and it's just the like messy charcoal hand print.
it's just two of the fingers. It's initials. Yeah. So it's the same kind of set of double doors that y'all have already seen.
So last time I saw these, they were open because I guess you guys had come through. So should we put some muscle into them, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get these open.
So when you go to approach them and start to try to muscle them open, they just slide apart.
Magic.
Whoa.
Smudge takes a step backwards in like shock.
I do like a quick flex and then massage my shoulder. Like I really put a lot into it.
It's a small door. Inside there are two buttons. I mean, it's a small room. Inside there are two buttons.
So we won't all fit?
No, you all fit in there. It's about 10 feet.
Two
by 10
buttons.
Feet. Yeah.
Are any of the buttons lit up, or are they just like...
The top button is lit up in the same way that the button, similar to the way in the buttons in the power control panel were.
Are we all in the little room? Did everybody go in?
Yeah. Thrag went in.
And the door's still open?
I mean, if you all get in and you're there for a second later, the doors will close.
I'm still incredibly strong. We shouldn't panic.
Just to make sure, I'm getting a bit claustrophobic here. I reach out towards the door. Do they open the same way from this side also?
Once you make contact with them, they open back up, yes.
All right, good.
I'm going to press a button, guys. Do you want me to press the upper button or the lower button?
Try pressing the one that's lit up first.
I'm gonna press the lit button.
The doors open back up.
Now try the other one.
I'm gonna try the other button.
Nothing happens.
What a useless room this is. All that button does is
Totally.
open the doors.
I mean, the doors are really neat, though.
Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't want them in my house, but this just seems like a pointless room.
Unless you're really into glowing buttons.
Does the button light up at all?
When you press it,
Yeah.
no, it does not.
Huh.
What's is the ceiling? Is there a ceiling?
Yeah. It's about a 8 foot to 10 foot tall room. You can't quite tell.
Well,
I guess we'll have to come back. What about the floor? Is there any like a hatch or does it look like a floor panel you might be able to lift up or something?
Nope. It is the same type of metallic floor there down below. Let's actually use this as a good place to pause. Let's take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back and play for about 30 more minutes, and then we can chat a little bit about the game and what's going to happen next also, too. Does that sound good to everybody?
Sounds great.
Yep.
Cool. Let's take a quick little break. We'll be right back here on Plus One EXP.
Thanking you up.
Nope.
Rich is finishing his mouthful.
And we are back here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel playing Down We Go Session 3. We are on floor 2 of the mega dungeon that we've been exploring. Well, that's not where we are. We're up here. Y'all are messing around in this small room with 2 buttons inside of it. Unsure exactly what you want to do. What would you like to do next?
Sorry.
I was about to say, seeing as this room is, apart from glowing buttons and slidey doors, rather boring.
Yeah.
Is there any music or anything?
No.
Do, 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 do.
Maybe if you could get this thing moving, there might be some sort of miniature bard in this thing that would play some music. But
I want to press and hold the button that is not lit up.
Oh, smart.
Oh, the old firefighter trick.
You press it and you hold it. How long do you hold it for?
Like an uncomfortable beat. Like, let's say 15 seconds.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Okay.
You're like, wait. The only difference now is that there's a smudge on that button.
Yeah, I've gotten my jollies out of this room, I think.
So
Yeah, I don't know what else to do here.
No, let's leave it.
Maybe there's a panel behind the buttons.
You do hear banging on that door down the hallway pretty consistently, though.
Does it look like the spikes will hold, or?
If you go check it, so far the spike is holding.
All right. Well, let's continue down this corridor then. Keep going south.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the rough-hewn rock area?
So it's metal all the way down. There's some alcoves. It kind of expands out, comes back in, and then there's just like a rock face in front of you where it looks like the tunnel stopped. And then there is, yes, to your right, to the west, there is an open passageway.
I want to hold my mirror out around that like open passage corner.
Yeah. So as you kind of hold it out around that corner, you can see that there is movement down in that area. Again, this is the kind of more primitive space, so there's no natural lighting down in there like there is in this hallway. But you can make out things moving around in the shadows.
I wonder if it's bugs or if it's more that goblin squatters who decided to live here.
Really, there's no excuse for throwing a dagger at somebody who's just asking to see your permit.
It's very impolite. I would agree.
You need to be taught a lesson.
They need to review the permit documentation again.
As y'all are having this conversation, you all of a sudden hear, "Shut up."
Where is it coming from?
Down the hallway.
Get another spike out.
I mean, there is no door this time, unfortunately.
But I'll get it out either way, just because you told me. So, mace in my right hand and a spike in my left hand.
Nice offhand weapon.
So, go ahead, Rob.
Excuse me, is someone down there who has the proper documentation that they have the permit to be here?
You all of a sudden see a number of forms start shifting towards you, and you hear as a number of they almost look like the goblins above, except for they're covered with these bulbous weeping tumors coming out of their face and their bodies at different angles. It looks like they are all kind of misshapen. Some of them are actually, I mean, they're actually significantly larger. They have much more body mass. They don't necessarily look like they're a lot stronger per se. It's these big, giant tumorous growths all over their bodies. and they are rushing at you. They've got a couple of spears and knives. Have you been maintaining your alert status this entire time, Thrag?
Seems like too long of a time, so I'll just use it again. So my second use of alertness.
Okay, so y'all will win initiative unless you want to roll first to see if you do it.
I mean, if it's a default win, I think we'll take it, right?
Okay, go to the default win. So y'all get to act first. There are you can see that there are 5 of these creatures, but there are obviously more behind them also too, back in the darkness.
How far away are they from us?
Oh, they are only about 15 feet at this point in time.
Okay. How wide is the corridor?
About at the shortest about 5 feet across, at the widest about 10.
Perfect. So you see Estrax just step up, just raise his hands, and then slam them together. And behind the first 2 and in front of the other 3, this wall of of inky black smoke and green and black smoke just slams into solidity between them, separating the 3 at the back from the 2 at the front.
Awesome. And you how many points do you have in Mystic right now? 3?
3. So it'll last for 3 rounds.
Cool. So this happens. Those 2 don't notice. You do have a sense, because this wall is kind of, I mean, it's a mystical reality. Like as you can sense that the other ones impacted it. But I mean, you can't sense anything besides that. It's completely cut off and filling the hallway. So you have these 2 goblins that are rushing towards you now, and a wall that's appeared behind them.
Maybe you should ask about permits again, since they're closer now. Maybe they can hear you better, or should we just hit them?
They don't look like they're up for talking.
Smudge yells, "Aim for the tumors!" And he takes out his 2 daggers.
That Smudge is classic technique, even when there's not tumors, is just to yell aim for the tumors.
Yeah, I don't know what else to do except for hit them with the permit.
Is that the name of your weapon?
Listen, I've got a quill and ink and paper, but I don't know if I don't think that. I'm still holding my daggers, just shrugging, I don't think that's gonna work.
So Richard, is this just I fling the paper at them?
Oh no! I'm it's bunched in my hand, and I'm just gonna with the same fist.
That's what I was making sure. All right, cool.
Yeah.
You're gonna newspaper noodle them?
So go ahead.
No, fist.
Bad goblins.
With a
bad.
Roll a d20 for me.
That is a 13.
That'll hit. Go ahead.
What do I roll for damage?
Nothing. You do a hit of damage normally.
A hit.
So you hit, and because of this kind of increased mass, you're expecting these things to be a little bit hardier. But what your fist does is where do you hit them?
Right across the snoz. Yeah, okay. The nose. Yeah.
So you feel your fist impact their nose, crumple their nose with very little resistance, and push into their face as if it was going into a warm pumpkin.
Wow.
And this thing collapses to the ground.
I didn't really want to severely hurt anybody, but when you ignore bureaucracy, you make everybody who defrauds and forges paperwork just it's like our work doesn't mean anything.
Don't fear, Boba. It was in self-defense. We all saw it.
Yep.
I brandish my daggers and look at the next goblin and go, "Yeah, that's what you get when you don't have a permit."
And you want to attack it? Or are you just gonna threaten it?
I'm just gonna take a defensive stance.
All right, I guess Thrag just takes a defensive stance as well. See how this thing reacts.
Okay. So no, that's everybody's action for the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know what? I should have asked this question earlier. Is it dodge on the part of the player? Is that what we do? Marcus?
Well, come again. Sorry.
Is it roll to hit for the creature? Or is it dodge on behalf of the player? How does
Dodge on behalf of the player?
Questions I should have asked. That's what I thought. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
I didn't recall you rolling any time. I just want to make sure. So because it saw Borba crumple the face of its friend, this one has a spear in its hand and it's going to try to catch you with that spear. Go ahead and make a D20 plus sneaky roll for me.
That is an 11.
Is it what do ties do, Marcus?
The ties the players win.
Players win the tie. You just barely dodge out of the way of this kind of glistening spear. The same kind of weeping stuff that's coming out of their tumors is on the edge of this spear as well.
That is uncalled for. We approached with questions, valid questions, and all we're getting is hostility.
All right, that's it. Thrag is gonna hit it over the head.
It would be y'all's turn again, so go ahead and make your to hit roll.
Oh my god, that's an 8.
You whiff near it, but miss it. Is it kind of as it's leaning in to try to hit Borba, you kind of swing at the same time and just manage to whiff right by it. Who's next?
If we're all kind of clustered together, I'd like to use the tactics ability so that my adjacent friends get +1 to hit.
Okay, that's great. 9 still misses.
Sure.
But yeah, as everybody can take a +1 to hit for right now.
Which Esterax doesn't need, as he kind of like pulls his hand up, puts his hand like this, and just goes, pop. And like this bolt of this pain bolt just releases from his finger for 3 points of damage straight through the eye.
What does the pain bolt look like as it comes out from Esterax?
So it's just this this spear of darkness that essentially shoots straight through his head. It's not like a gun or bullet or anything that has this huge explosion. It's like a needle sharp spear that just goes straight through from the eye, out the back of his head, circles back around, goes back through again, and it just puffs into smoke.
So, Esterax, you notice this is a newer spell for you, correct? Or is this one you already had?
No, this one I already had.
Okay. So you've cast this spell before. You are absolutely used to the way it works. You notice that as it goes back, like he's pretty close to the wall, it hits that wall. It actually, you see a small hole open up in the wall, and then it comes back forward and hits him in the wall, which is not normal. Usually if it hits the wall like that, it would just stop. Something allowed it to keep on going, but yeah, his head, it doesn't even explode. It's just a hole. There's just a hole as it punches through all this soft tissue and he collapses to the ground. Y'all now have about a 10-second period of time, where you can decide what you want to do because there's still a wall in front of you.
These people don't seem up for conversation very much.
They don't.
Do we want to try hiding?
I mean, we could try to hide in the little room. I can't say that in 10 seconds. I think that Smudge is just going to
We've been very meticulous about the amount of time you can talk so far, so let's keep that consistent.
How wide is this hallway?
The hallway you're in right now, it's about 10 feet wide.
Okay.
It narrows to a point right where the wall is, but it's about 10 feet wide.
There's too many of them. I can split them up again, like I just have. But seeing as how easily they go down, I'm not sure that'll be needed.
We could put the two of them in front. Instead, though, I am going to. Are there things to hide behind in this hallway?
They're the outcropping that's kind of the break point right now. There's you could easily if for a sneaky character, you could easily try to hide in that kind of alcove and pop out and surprise them as they came around. You go back around the corner behind you.
Can you use that wall thing to smush?
I can't move it.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I'd make 2 and just
Slowly move them together, right?
Smudge likes that.
This wall is like we can see through it, kind of, right?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as if nothing's pushing against it, it's just like looks like black smoke, but solidifies.
Yeah, like I said, you could see them kind of hitting the backside of it initially, and it's evident that they're still there vaguely, though it's I mean it's dark behind, so you're seeing a shadow move against blackness, basically.
Well, I'm going to take a use of hide and pop around that corner.
Yeah.
Or no, pop into the little alcove near where I can surprise them.
Okay.
And
I see him doing that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use hide in an alcove.
Gonna hide behind them. SRX, go ahead and make a D6 roll for me real quick.
4.
Okay. So y'all wait at the end of that time. Y'all have plenty of time to hide, and all of a sudden the wall kind of dissolves into smoke, and then starts to kind of flicker out of existence as it's kind of absorbed back out. Go ahead.
I think I want to move like further back than my friends are hiding, so they try to get them to focus on me, and not so much.
So you're going to move back kind of to where that this pathway kind of started into out of the other hallway. Okay.
And Esterax will be standing next to him, but he will have prepared something as well for when the wall drops and they start rushing forward.
So the wall drops, and you can see that there are 6 of these creatures gathered on the other side, and it looks like they had turned to each other. And then when the wall drops down, again, and start charging forward.
Okay. Is it back to
I want to wait
then?
until they pass and then attack them from behind.
Sure. You were hidden, so we don't have to. You can go ahead and get
I was about to say, before they even move, though, Esterax throws his hand out again, and using his new power, again, small bolts of darkness just shoot out and hit 3 of the creatures as 3 smaller missiles shoot forward and just pierce their skulls.
Half of them just dropped, down to the ground. And then
Esterax is very good at one thing.
and that's exploding heads. So Sarah, go ahead and you're from behind. Go ahead and take your sneaky. Go and make a sneaky roll for me.
11.
You easily hit. I mean, like, you feel like if this guy had seen you coming, it would have been close, but the fact that he was facing the other direction as he came past, you easily kind of slice in. Tell me how you horribly finish this soft creature.
Like, the knife goes through, like, butter and kind of smears onto the floor a little bit, and I yell, "You've been smudged."
Oh.
I think that's as far as I can lean into this character.
You've reached the zenith of role playing.
That's it.
In the OSR. Richard,
Smear him across the floor.
How many are left at this point?
2.
All right. I'm gonna, like, from my hiding position, kind of pop one of them with my crowbar.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll for me. D20 plus D20 plus sneaky.
That is a 15.
All right, you Cream, tell me how this crowbar impacting this soft tumorous flesh looks.
Well, the head is now heart-shaped with kind of a deep cleft right down the middle.
Excellent. He drops to the ground. There is one left who does not realize all of his. Well, he realizes 3 of his compatriots are dead, or at least 2 of them. He does not realize he is the only one left standing. Thrak, do you want to do anything about that guy?
Yes, I do, and I'm feeling a bit overconfident right now, so I don't want to hit him with my mace. I want to just drive my spike right into his forehead.
All right, go ahead and make a roll. Plus any bloodthirsty.
Yeah, 14.
Okay. So you drive that spike right into his skull, and it actually comes out the backside, like it's got some momentum. And he drops to the ground, and That's all. That's all of the goblins that you could see in the hallway. You don't see any more shifting down in the darkness. What do you do?
Are they wearing clothes of any kind?
Very loose rags, some of them, none other of them. One looks like it has a pair of pants. He had less tumors than everybody else.
Well,
how hurt is everybody?
All of them are very hurt.
No, I'm talking about us.
I mean, if you average this all together, it's about 50-50. But I mean, I there's emotional scars I'm not going to be getting over.
Yeah,
I'm feeling fine. You guys are, a little poisony.
Yeah.
apart from that.
I'm a little worried that might be catching.
It might be.
Do you think they experienced what we have experienced?
Are you feeling squishy and tumory?
No, not right now. But
we should all check each other for lumps. Like
While
maybe
they're
spend an
checking each
hour
other
or two.
While they're doing that, Estrak is just walking among the ones that he killed and being like, "Eat your prayer to the fallen god."
Oh.
Love it.
I'm just wiping off my fist in crowbar.
Mm-hmm.
Crowbar's easy. Fist is a little bit harder, but you managed to make do. The permit is a little tumor soaked right now.
It's
It's still valid, right?
It's a legally binding document. I think that's still good.
I don't think it's really valid until it has a little butt of ichor or something on it.
A little goblin butter on it.
Right.
Butter. So you all are you going deeper in? Are you just hanging out here in the hallway cleaning off?
I'm not sure.
Once things are wiped down, I think we should go deeper in.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
Let's do that.
So as you get down a little bit further, it looks like this is something of a sleeping area, but also you notice these kind of sacks of what look like eggs hanging both from the ceiling and on the floor all around you, along with just kind of what looks like strands of silk going back and forth between them also too in this area. So it looks like these goblins were sleeping in and around these eggs.
I'm disturbed. And when you say eggs, you mean like chicken eggs, bird eggs?
No, not at all. They're far more insect oriented.
More spider-like.
Do what?
Spider-like almost.
If you think about it, no, actually, far more like caterpillary than spider-like.
That sounds
Okay.
squishy.
They're not big. They are about the size of they're big for maybe potentially a caterpillar egg, but they're not big for a normal. They're about normal egg sized.
If I hold them up so that the lantern is behind them, can I see through the surface the way you can sometimes with an insect egg?
Yeah, absolutely. You're able to see through some of the newer ones. Like you got to move around a little bit, but yeah, you can see the inside that there are these small like caterpillar-like creatures inside.
Caterpillar-like.
Mm-hmm.
Thrag starts looking around for egg shells, like to see if any of them broke or.
There's certainly broken ones in there. It looks more like they are broken off rather than broken out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think the goblins were eating that?
They might have, yeah. Are the shells centered around one specific area, or are they spread out throughout the room?
It's actually, as you look around and you kind of take that in, it's spread out all over the place, but it definitely looks like very intentional clusters. And the sleeping arrangements are paired up with these clusters. So it looks like there's a very intentional something happening here. As you look around, make a luck roll for me.
Everyone or just one of us?
Anyone who's intentionally taking this in. Instead of luck, if you want to try to make a D20 roll, you can to try to observe this instead.
Got it.
I got a 19.
12.
Okay.
And 5 on my D6.
4.
Sure. You luckily notice, as well as anybody, let's say, who rolled a 17 or higher can also notice this if you did a D20. There are significantly more sleeping mats in here than there are tumor goblins that you killed. And there are 2 other passageways leading out of here.
What directions do those passageways go?
One north, which it's not very hard to think like that would lead back towards the lake where all the zombie goblins were at. And then another one that goes south, but there is a bunch of rubble in the way also too. It's not an easy path. It looks like it's kind of caved in back there.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, it's clearage. Like you could crawl over that mound of rubble in the back. It doesn't go all the way to the ceiling, but it's pretty close. You're going to be getting down on all fours at one point in time.
But goblins would have been able to make that even easier than we could, right?
Correct. And the way back north is wide open.
Yeah.
It's actually what looks like a series of steps going back up that way.
But that leads towards the lake area, right?
Uh-huh.
I just want to avoid that big room, to be honest. That lake area.
Yeah, no, that was... I had a bad feeling about that lake area.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to you guys, I don't want happening to me.
No. Fair enough. Could we maybe we could try to make this opening at the top bigger? Like using our crowbars or something, clearing some of the rubble?
Yeah, that seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone tell me how they're contributing to that.
I'm going to use my crowbar to kind of like try to wrench some of the boulders and rubble free.
Okay.
I'm going to work collaboratively with the badger to move the larger bits of rock.
Sure.
I'll just oversee, I think.
Of course,
I was about to say, Esterax is helping by not helping.
Yeah. So you two go ahead and make me 2 D20 rolls plus any bloodthirsty you have.
Oh, I want to make sure that none of the boulders like make a sound. I want to, if I notice a boulder rolling down, I want to catch it so it doesn't make a sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an 11.
I got a 19.
So between the two of you, you're able to do it. Borba, it's a lot of like you're putting up a good show, but it's a lot more show than it is necessarily work. You got a good comedy routine going back and forth with.
Finlow is not really holding up his end of the badger human, like passing the rocks back and forth shtick.
Yeah, and so you are able to widen that path. You're able to get it basically down to where you can see over the top of it, and it looks like right down at the end of that passageway. It looks like there's another door, which it's all rock until there's this metal door slammed right into it.
I guess we'll go up and check the door.
Okay. I mean, it's got the pasted on symbol that you saw earlier, also on this door. Like that one that you first came in that had all the cables inside of it, similar symbol on this.
Huh.
Oh, cool.
Could you describe the symbol at all?
Yeah, they're thin and wiry, and they wrap all around it. It's definitely some sort of script y'all have determined, but it's not anything that you've seen before. But this one, it looks, the color coding, which let's say it's bright green, is almost identical as far as you can tell to the one that you saw on that other door, which are the only two you've seen a label slapped on.
Borba,
Do we
you want
hear-
to listen?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the whole safety precaution thing, listen, etc.
So you do the whole safety precaution. You don't hear anything behind it.
Look for tumor goblin footprints going in or out.
There are, if you're looking down there, there's obviously signs of movement. They do not look recent.
Okay. And then check for anything that could be a trap and open. Does it open away from me or toward me?
It opens into the room, so away from you.
All right. So I'm gonna press the handle down and try to open the door really, like, so just that I'm just projecting my upper body over the threshold, but like kind of keeping my feet on the far side. So like I can use the body, I can use the door as a shield.
Sure.
If somebody decides to like throw a knife or some shit like that.
It opens up straight in, no problem, and it's a small room. There's a metallic box in the middle of it that's got a few knobs on it and a bunch of cables running in and out of it.
Are those cables broken or sparking at any point?
None of them are sparking, but as you look, there are two that are severed.
I am pointing at those. So what'd you do last time, Thrag? I'm not really sure I understood. You lowered these knobs.
You mean with the knobs and buttons, or with
Oh, it
the...
helped. We had bendy metal.
Or the severed cable.
Yeah, do I have any more metal sheets? I don't think I do, actually.
Yeah, I think at this point you've probably exhausted your easy metal pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, who goes around just cutting cables?
People without permits, that's who. Maybe I could... That shedded skin I found. Could that maybe be wrapped around to...
You know, I didn't write this module, but I really like that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and try it, and we'll make a luck roll.
All right.
I mean, if you're just wrapping it, I think that's a very quick process. This is way more like a bandage than it is like a twisty, wrappy wire thing. So just go ahead and make a luck roll for me.
That's a 2.
So it like sparks for a second, like not in a dangerous way. Like you see power basically kick on, and then die.
What'd you do with the buttony thing after you did the connector thing?
I used that slider thing back and forth.
Can I touch the slider thing?
There's just a button on this one. There's no slider.
So I'm gonna like pull my shirt, my tunic sleeve down over my hand and use that to touch the button.
Are you still wearing the cloak?
Yeah. My robe sleeve, my fancy robe sleeve.
You put it over, you press down on the button, and you hear like, you see another kind of spark for a second, and then it stops. Thrag, you do actually have one more piece of metal that I did forget about. And that is the metal skull on the end of the crook.
That is right. All right. Can I use that to try to fix the?
Yeah.
cable?
Let's. Yeah. If you go ahead and wrap it inside of there, and kind of use it, like I think conceptually, like the bad luck means that this skin couldn't carry enough of a charge, right? It is metallic but not metal. And so once you kick that thing in there, you all of a sudden go ahead and make a DC roll for me. Just now that we've pressed the button a whole lot of times, let's just make sure you don't get shocked.
What kind of roll?
A D20 roll. Sorry.
9.
You gotta swap out all your d20s.
Yeah. So, yeah, you get a little bit of a zap. You go ahead and take a hit of damage for that, but it does all of a sudden kick on, and you see that button light up.
Drag, you're brilliant.
Try pressing it now.
I press it. I press the button.
You hear the whole thing start to churn at a higher level, but I mean, other than that, like, it's working. You don't know what it's doing.
Huh. Interesting.
It is a start, at least.
I just realized that maybe someone cut these cables because this thing is dangerous.
So I turn it back off again. So
that seems like a big stretch.
These
goblins don't look like they're thinking very much, so I can't imagine it was them.
No. And there are no exits out of this room.
Nope.
Right?
It's it.
We're gonna have to go into that big room sooner or later with the lake.
Probably.
You don't have to.
I would prefer to do that once I've recovered some of my magical energies, though.
How much of that cloak do you think there is? Do you think we could fashion some kind of a filter for breathing?
Oh.
From the robe?
Yeah.
I mean, that would sort of damage its rather fine structural integrity, but sure, yeah.
I mean, it's possible, but maybe not probable. But if we got to go back in the room that made you guys feel bleh.
I mean, there are a number of routes that y'all have not traveled yet. So you could go back to the room with whatever creatures in it that's scurrying around underneath all that stuff. You could go back up and out. You could go back through the giant room with the pond in it.
I'm liking Esterak's idea. Maybe we should all just take a rest and perhaps heal a little. And
my lungs are still not feeling very good after whatever happened in that lake room.
I mean, y'all can always head back up to the city. I mean, you can head up and out if you want to.
I feel like getting up and out of here may be our best bet, because I feel like we're going to need a real actual spa day treatment. Maybe a holy spa day treatment.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
I
nice.
just really don't want to go back to that lake thing.
We're going for the swimsuit episode next, is what you're saying.
Or I feel like just like a steam breather to empty our lungs out.
Yeah.
Open our pores.
Sure. Tell me the pathway y'all are taking to get back towards the elevator. You can go back down the long. check the map. Since we've established that the map is questionably accurate, if you want to use the map, just go ahead and you've got a 50-50 chance. You can either roll a d6 for luck, or you can roll a d20. Either way, it's going to be 50-50. We can't believe you haven't been mapping this entire time.
That's the gimmick. I'm not actually very good at making maps. I like Buster Bluth. The blue is the land. So I got a 17. Do I get to add anything to that, or is it just?
No, it's fine. 17's great. Like you did.
Okay.
It was 50-50. So it was either 11 to 20 or 1 to 10. Like those were. So yeah. When you look, because I mean, it also is literally a 50-50 option from what y'all have explored before. So you know that if you go through the giant, you can either go through the giant room that has the lake in it and the poison gas, or you can go back up the hallway and then cut back above all that.
I say we go back up the hallway.
Sure.
Mhm.
Agree.
As you are coming back up the hallway, you notice that as you are getting about halfway up, that there is some sort of slick trail that's headed up the far side of the hallway. So the part that is on the side of the elevator. And you look down there and you see four of these kind of tumorous goblins that are breaking open the spike room, the room that you had spiked shut.
Ooh.
Yeah, nah.
No.
Astrax
No.
just goes, prefer you didn't do that, gentlemen.
Ah! How many can you take out at once?
3.
Okay, so you take out 3. As the one at the door pops that spike out and opens up the door. And there are now a horde of these things running towards you. Now, they're not faster than you. They're not stronger than you. However, I will let you know that there are a number of times y'all rolled in a way that caused a ton of them to spawn in that room that you have now spiked shut. So this is a significantly higher number of running at you. You can easily cut out and away from them back towards the elevator shaft in safety.
Oh yeah, I feel
Yep.
like that's what we should do.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to bounce.
Yeah.
Great. Y'all are easily faster and swifter than them, especially as they kind of trip and fall over each other. Make your way back up to the elevator shaft. Let's go ahead and get. There's the rubble on one side, which you could try to spend the time to clear, or you can go back up the rope. Go ahead and make a roll for me to climb back up the rope quickly.
Oh dear.
Or you can take your time.
I
No.
roll a 16.
You get up the rope easily.
17.
You get up the rope easily.
17.
You get up the rope easily.
Can I just burn a use of acrobatics?
You can absolutely use a use of acrobatics here.
Mhm.
Tell me what type of acrobatic feat you use to get back up.
I'm gonna do like that, like like where you descend on like a piece of cloth, but I'm gonna reascend, rolling myself up with a piece of rope.
Okay. Excellent.
Borba does aerial yoga.
Yeah. And you guys make it back up to the first level, unless you want to have any interactions with the robot on the way out or do anything else on the first level. The other goblins are still cowering behind their barricade. Y'all can easily make it out and back to Infinopolis.
Yeah, let's do that.
Awesome. We're going to pause there for the week. It seems like a good place. Y'all have explored a significant part of the second level of the dungeon, found more elevator issues. Yeah. As you get back up, you do notice actually. So remember before how the power was flickering to floor 1. When you get back up there, it's fully bright. So all the things are lit up. It's not flickering anymore. So it doesn't. It seems to be that this is getting consistent light through these runes on the way out. So really quickly, as you make it back to Infinopolis, is there anything you want to do or any goodbyes you want to say to Smudge? Who is not coming back with you next time for Smudge's own personal reasons.
Going on a smudgecation.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I just copy that map down? It seemed to have come in handy. I'll just pull out like some paper to be like, copy down what the map from her. Sorry, from his.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and mark down a copy of the map if you want to.
Smudge map.
Some of the lines are a
Smudge.
tiny bit blurry though.
Yeah, Smudge, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I really hope that your map will be complete one day.
Me too. Someday. Me too. Thanks for the help. And I hold my hand
Yeah.
out.
Oh, definitely shaking Smudge's hand.
Yep. I shake all your hands and I clap you all once on the back. And I hit Borba's fancy fine cloak. You probably can't see it because Esterak is a man of darkness.
Yeah, I was going to
So
say,
I'm
it
pretty
blends
sure-
into my cloak, so.
I'm
You
not going
know-
to pigpen you at all.
Black shows stains like nothing.
Yeah, it's true. So,
That is true.
Awesome. So that's it. We're gonna pause right there. Let's hear from everybody once again, kind of who they are, where they're from. We talked a little bit about it last week. Sarah, would love to hear any thoughts you have about downwego also too. This is my first time GMing it, so don't. It's actually my first time GMing an adventure where I have a map in front of me in advance and I'm walking people through a dungeon. I've never done that before in my entire life. I'll be honest. It was a new experience for me.
I didn't tell at all.
Let's hear. We'll end with Sarah. But Liam, tell people who you are, where they can find you online.
I'm Liam, the owner and founder of the Hobgoblin Company. You can find us online on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or Twitter. Hobbled Goblin for most of them, or the Hobbled Goblin. And you can find our podcast on all good podcast platforms.
Awesome. And then Richard, tell people who you are, what you do, where to find you.
Hey, I'm Richard. I am the person behind our Rit Games, and they can find me on Twitter at ARR_ROO.
There we go. Marcus, tell people who you are, what you do.
Marcus Linderum from Sweden, the author of this game, which is now being expanded and improved with the help of Tony and all of the playtesters playing with us. Hopefully there will be more stuff coming out for downwego and other stuff as well. If you search for Apes of Wrath on drivethrurpg.com.
Awesome. You can also find the Ashkin of this at the link down below us. Marcus, point right down below you. The link right down below us, and check it out if you want to. The Ashcan version is there. You can also buy whatever the final digital copy is going to be. We have a Kickstarter coming for the physical copies later on this summer. We actually just found out we're going to be working with Loot the Body, who does really cool dungeon music, to try to do a series of digital music inspired by the game, and maybe do a cassette release as part of the Kickstarter also too. So I'm super excited about that. But Sarah, tell people who you are, what you do. Also tell us your thoughts about playing downwego.
I'm Sarah Brunt. I am the other half of Planar Compass, the co-owner. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, planarcompass.com. And I think downwego was a really good time. Very interested in picking up a print copy when that comes around. Really enjoyed not having to use any magic powers until I really had to, if we weren't going to be clever enough or smart enough. And I think that that's the hallmark of a good OSR game. I think this was really rad.
Awesome. I'm a huge fan of the stuff that they do over at Planar Compass. We've done an interview with Sarah and the team over there. If you want to go check that out, it was back in Zine Quest, I think. It's very nebulous time in my brain where there was a lot of content that happened, and when it all exactly took place, I'm not sure. But
February was a blur.
When is Planar Compass 2 coming out?
Planar Compass 2 is currently in layout. It is still on track for late summer, early fall. Everything is really coming together and gelling really well. The art team is moving forward with inking some interesting stuff that we've teased on our Instagram. I'm very excited. We've actually started some very light issue 3 work as we're waiting for the layout to move forward.
Awesome.
So soon and more.
Awesome. It was great to have you with us. Join us back again next week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. If you want to see what it's like as we continue to go down into this dungeon, which was also done by Marcus. It will hopefully be part of the final print project. We actually are going to be sitting down when all this is done and figuring out what every single piece is that's going to go into it. But it'll have at least the 2 original dungeons that have already been put out. The core rules, we're going to have a hex crawl by Ava Islam, who's the author of Errant. We've got a phenomenal art by Simone Temeta, as well as a piece by Evelyn Monroe that we just had finished up. The Garbage Wraith Evelyn did is absolutely gorgeous, and was just part of a little ugly monster thing that everyone was like, I'll draw ugly monsters for people. And I was like, can we put it in a book? And Evelyn was like, absolutely. And I was like, excellent. And so we did that, and I'm super excited to add it. So we'll be continuing to add more things to it as we go. We've also got a map that's going to be, it has been drawn by Skull Fungus, whose name is actually pronounced Carl
Stjernberg.
Carl Cranberry. That doesn't sound right. So anyways, lots of great stuff coming up soon. But until next time, we're just all going to wave to the camera until we go off stream. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.